Okay, there we go. Good enough. Okay, so we're back. And one of the big things that I was concerned about was getting sort of my iPad communicating using LiveLink with Unreal Engine. Now I had to restart because I had to reset the rendering display to 8-bit RGBA because my old iPad Pro cannot handle, I think it was a 10-bit color rendering coming out of Unreal. Oh, I'm just pausing for a second because that doesn't sound right. I'm going to double check that because I'm 100% sure there's 32-bit OpenEXR type support for Unreal Engine now. Okay, so I'm just going to check my message bus source, and it's not working because I need to launch it on here. So I'm going to pop back into my iPad again, and I'm going to try and reconnect again. So hopefully, just by doing that, yes, we have our remote session back again. Oh, that's making me so happy, like you wouldn't believe, guys. This was such a headache for me yesterday. Okay, so that's connected. Now we've got our City Camera Actor. It's really strange. Did it? No, there's my Virtual Camera Actor as well. I'm going to pop that into my cameras folder. I'm not entirely sure which one it'll use, but I'm hoping that the Virtual Camera 2 Actor is the one it wants to connect to. So let's see what happens when we just hit play. Okay, we're still not getting the virtual display here, which is unusual because we should be getting something here. There is currently no active focus modifier. Okay, so let's pop back into the documentation, right? So we've got our Virtual Camera Actor. We've set the frame buffer to what we want. And we've got our virtual Unreal Remote 2 app, and that's connected, right? And we've added a Virtual Camera Actor into our scene, right? And live linked remote session to the iPad 2. We've got that. Select the VCam component on your Virtual Camera Actor. Expand the output providers and check is active is shown below. And the camera transform. Aha, okay. So there's a few knobs and switches we need to set apparently inside our Virtual Camera Actor, right? Which would make sense. So I'm popping that over on the other monitor while I take a real quick look here. So let's go to our Virtual Camera Actor, and in the Details panel, we want to go into the inherited class, the VCam class. So that makes a lot of sense. And then what do we want to do? We want to expand the output providers. So there we go, output providers. I'm going to move my live link window out of the way here because it's covering my web window, and it's just a lot easier to kind of reference the two. Okay, so the output should be is active. Hey, okay. So we want to activate that. There we go. So activate the output of the VCam class. Right? Now it doesn't seem to have done anything other than to display the UI for me in the UI viewport. Right? So click on the Live Link Subject drop down. So let's go into, we are in the virtual camera, right? And where is the Live Link? Virtual camera, Live Link Subject. Here we go. Live Link Subject. And select the camera transform. Of course, because in the live link, we're sending the camera transform data to the iPad. So we need to come in here and tell the class for the VCam that we want to send the virtual camera data to the camera transform. So, finally click on the enabled checkbox to activate the virtual camera. Wow, there's a little bit of stuff going on there, isn't there? Okay, so this has resulted in something quite unusual, but let's take a look, right? Let's pop over in here. It's not really doing its thing now. Huh, okay. So let's try this guy again. Let's come down here. Let's hit play. It's not sending any data. You should now see your iOS device as a camera within the scene. As you move the iOS device around, you'll see the editor view change to reflect your movements. But I'm not. So that's a bit of an issue here as well, right? So we've got the LiveLink camera transform. Let's take a look. Basic interpolation, that's fine. Transforms. So we want to double check our rendering settings. So there's our virtual camera settings. That's cool. There we go. So we want to send it to the Virtual Camera 2 actor, which is what's happening. Unless it's getting confused, is this the Cine Camera actor? So we got the Cine Camera actor and we've got the Virtual Camera actor. Virtual Camera 2 actor. So let's take this guy. This has got a custom filmback preset. The Cine Camera actor seems like it's set up and ready to go for this functionality. All right, let me take a look at the camera component, see what's going on here. It's not, this is just, so if we go to the virtual camera actor, we have the same sort of camera settings up at the camera component. So notice we've got the scene component camera component, and in virtual camera 2 actor, we have the scene component camera component, scene capture component, and the VCam base class, right? So this is the one we want to be in. Let's see if we can capture source. Yeah, it's still not sending anything out to my iPad, so that's it's concerning me a little bit. So I'm gonna pop back in here. Let's walk back through this. So we've placed an actor into the scene. Window LiveLink, and we've connected to that remote session. Make sure that this is connected to the iPad. Engine time, and the camera transforms are there. Transforms. So let's go back and double check our VCam settings now. So what I'm going to do is make sure that the output providers, LiveLink subject, camera transforms, right? That's cool. That's what we want. Lock viewport to camera. Target currently selected viewport. Unreal remote output provider. Did I set the wrong output provider? Remote session output provider. That's right. And then the output is active. VCam to Unreal, right? So you want that to be active. Any error messages pop up? Nothing that I can see. Okay, so that's fine. And LiveLink subject is here, which we've set for our camera transformed. finally click on enabled to activate the virtual camera. Enabled. Right? But it is not rendering properly for me. So my suspicion is that in the template itself, there is a pre-prepped Cine Camera actor. So I'm wondering if that is what is... I'm wondering if it's simply expecting to interact with that camera, not the one that I dragged in. So let's try that. Let's come in here and we'll delete this guy. Because we're in unknown territory now. We might as well sort of make it up as we go. Okay, so if I hit play here, it's just giving me a bog standard editor camera. That's not what we want, right? So we want the virtual camera actor. Now, if we look at Live Link, we are connected to the camera transform. Let me check the render settings again. Just wondering if go to the rendering section. What are the default settings? Let's go to I couldn't find this, so I'm just going to type in frame buffer pixel format 8-bit RGBA. That's cool. We are at 8-bit RGBA. I wonder if what I need to do is the opposites. Let's try that. Let's do the opposite, right? So let me undo this back so we can bring back the virtual camera 2 actor. Let's delete that one. So if I hit play, we should get into our, there it is, right? But it's not going to the iPad, even though we have a Live Link connection to the iPad. Right? So the data is not being sent over. Let's check this from Live Link Camera Transform. Yeah, that's right. That's our virtual camera actor. I might have to reset all of these again. So the Live Link subject is camera transforms, and we want is active. That's the camera UI, right? But the UI is not activated in here. Target viewport, currently selected. Good. Remote session output provider. Yeah, that's right. Enable. Okay. So this should give me nice controls to control the camera with, right? No, not communicating at all with the iPad, which is unfortunate because we've gotten somewhere. It's just not connecting up. Now, here's a thought. Maybe what this wants is to be created in a blank project. Let's have a look here. Because this is just the virtual camera actor, right? So I created a virtual production suite, and there might be there might be some conflict with the signal being sent from Unreal to the iPad. Oh, you're back. So what are you making now? I'm not making anything yet again. I am again just trying to test this out. Holy cow! You must be my lucky charm. It is now working. But I'm not getting a display on the iPad, which is sort of unfortunate. I don't want this. I'm sure it has to do with the render settings, right? But this is good because it allows me to experiment with. Okay, that's cool. Let me, I really want to figure this out, guys. I need to send that display on the monitor to my iPad. So that's the big thing that needs to be figured out at the moment. So it is not sending the UI over. Okay, so let's come out of that. I'm going to save this. And I'm going to go through the whole rigmarole of making a new Unreal Engine project again because I want to do it with a blank template. I think that there might be some issues with, that's a cool camera. Might be some issues with how it's trying to send over to my iPad. Just going to take another quick look here. What am I forgetting? So we've got the active live link. Rebroadcast subject. So, but there's our camera transforms. Come in here. Engine time. Let's see if we can save the. The camera transforms, but we want to send something else, not just the camera transforms. We want to send our UI. So let me just come down here. See, the big thing that we're missing at the moment is I'm not getting this, right? So ideally we should see on the iPad what we're seeing inside the virtual camera in Unreal. So we've linked the camera transforms. That should be fine. This is the bit, right? So the UMG overlay should be active. Use override resolution. Wait a minute. I might have an override, resolution override set up in here, and that's not good. So I'm going to pop back in here. We're going to take a look at our virtual camera. See, it doesn't make sense to me that I have to open up a blank project. That just doesn't feel right, right? So I'm going to pop over here, and let's check the resolution override under our output parameters, right? So let's not use the resolution override. Port number 2049. That's wrong as well. Let's try this. Let's see what happens. So it's connecting. You know what? I did have the correct resolution, so that's cool. Let's exit out of this. And let's stop that. Let's come back in here. Let's turn that resolution override back on, guys. And because it was at the correct resolution, but I'm wondering if let's see. So the port number is 2049. You know what? I'm just going to take a real quick snipping screen grab of that because I don't want to forget those values. I know it's 2049, but just in case. I get in the habit of doing this, especially when I'm making settings changes that I think might be a little bit precarious. But I believe the port number is supposed to be 0, right? So let's do that. And let's enabled for the virtual camera, and let's do the output is active. Let's go in here and let's play again. So it's picking up, it's definitely picking up the movement, but it's not sending the data over. So that is kind of concerning me. Right? We need to see that data on the iPad. Okay, so I'm going to Google that for now, because that seems to be a little bit of an issue. It might be the remote app itself. Real remote app. Display. Let's see if those search terms come up with everything. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. My first hurdle I've hit. I've managed to connect Unreal to my iPad such that I can control camera transforms. But I need to see that display here, and I'll tell you why. Because what I want to do is I want to take this setup on set. And on set we have a magical object. I can't say what it is, right? And that magical object is created in CG. So the idea is that we can talk to the DOP and the director and say, look, here's our CG element. This is what it's going to look like on this set. And then if they can't see it here, it's kind of pointless, right? So I'm going to try and get that set up. Once I get that working, I'll pop back on and tell you what I figured out, and then we'll start talking about how I'm going to connect all of that with the rest of the stuff I've built for virtual production. So I will come back and I will talk to you guys later.